everybody. Welcome back to the Youth Café YouTube channel. My name is Hazel Gathoni and I'm your host today. This week at the Youth Café, we had a very interesting 5-day project where people from all over the world, from Spain, from Portugal, from Ethiopia, Uganda, and Kenya, converged to speak about matters of climate change. As we all know, climate change is a topic that is present in our lives, it's present in our everyday lives, but it's a topic also that we do not have much awareness as far the drastic and undeniable changes that it has affected us. As young people, the YCAN project, which is now the Youth Climate Action Network, which is supposed to equip us with help us create awareness, equip us with knowledge, skills, and platforms so that we can join the fight against climate change, against climate injustices, and actually be part of the movement. So this was the first meeting and it took 5 days. These people are here to educate us, to train us, to make sure that we save the planet. It is not just up to the experts, it's not just up to the people who are in this field, it is up to us, especially as young people, and it is our role to actually take action and be part of this movement. So join us throughout this video where you will interact with very many experts who give their view on this entire process, and we hope that by the end of it you're educated more on climate change and you feel the need and the urgency that it requires for all of us to join hands and take action. Welcome, and do not forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel and turn on your notification bell. Good morning, how are you?
Good morning. I'm fine.
So tell us your name and what organization you come from.
Well, my name is Alam Saged Brana, and I come from Salesians of Don Bosco, Ethiopia.
So what would you say is your perception on climate change?
Well, my perception on climate change is that it's really a hard time to tackle on it, but many people do not really observe that way.
Thank you. Would you say that climate change affects you personally from an individual level?
Well, climate change affects me as an individual when I feel the weather change itself, because in my experience, it's the extreme weather change which affects all of us. So, as a person, it affects me, yes.
Could you maybe give us an example or a situation you found yourself in that really affected you and had to do with climate change?
Well, climate change, one of the bad consequences of climate change is drought and famine. And the living example, as my work experience starts from the drought affected area, and I start working by helping other people under my Catholic Church organization as a social worker. So it really affects me personally. It's still going on.
What would be your key takeaways from the sessions we have had here?
Yeah, from the sessions we have had here is that, there are many ways to tackle climate change. This is what I have seen, and there are also different simplistic ways to handle our youth so that we involve them on climate change activities. So I picked up a lot of key points, which I will definitely practical activity will be going on from now. So the good part is that Salesians of Don Bosco, we work with the youth. So it's a fertile ground to capture youth. So I will benefit using that advantage.
Thank you so much. For the last thing, look into the camera and talk to the youth. Give them a call to action as to how they can be part of the movement to help change climate change.
Yeah, I really advocate for youth to come up and be part of the network on climate change, and by involving yourself on different activities like green club activities at school, which will definitely help come up and be instrumental also to disseminate this information to others who do not really understand more on climate change. This is my message.
Thank you so much for your time. Have a nice day.
Hello, my name is Silvia. I'm a project manager at Mundus, an organization based in Spain, in Zaragoza. And related to my climate change perspective, I think that I might talk about my first perception of climate change in my life. I was 3 years old, and there was a massive flood behind, like very close to my city, and a lot of people were displaced, a lot of houses were destroyed. So that was like, it's among my first memories. So it's something that really marked my experience, and it's not the first one that happened in my island. I'm from an Italian island that is called Sardinia. So I think that this is the first big memories. Then it's been like a couple of years, let's say at least 5 years, that I started to like gaining more awareness about this topic, thanks to like social media, thanks to the fact that I follow some youth activists, and also thanks to the fact that I spent 6 months in a youth organization in Poland, and this was very useful for me. I was a youth worker, and we did a lot of activities and youth exchange related to climate change. So that was very important for me. And related to this experience, I think that the key takeaways are probably a lot, but if I have to put them in order, I think that first of all, the different methods that we can use to tackle these problems, the climate change, and to involve youth in the climate change topics. So I think that using different type of methods, of tools, it's what is my main the key takeaways. Also, like, it's very important to see how in different countries and in different culture we can approach the community, because the main things of this project, in my opinion, is not only to involve the youth, but is like the fact that the youth have to take action in their community. So according to the experience of all the participants in each country, in each community, there's a different way, and this is very interesting in my opinion. So I think that how related to the fact like how youth can help climate action, how youth can be active in climate action in different ways. I think that I have to say that youth are already active, because I talk about my context. I'm Italian, but I was living also in Brussels, in Poland. So I have, like, I'm talking about a European experience probably, because I lived in different countries. And I see that there are a lot of protests, a lot of strikes, a lot of awareness activities. But I think that the main the most effective way is non-formal education. So like doing activities that could be both organized and just involve youth. So activities like the one that we did this week. So like non-formal activities, meetings, this kind of topic, using also different type of tools that are digital and not digital, using art. This is very, very important and very effective, in my opinion. Thank you. Bye.
Hello everyone, my name is Teresia Mombua and I'm a youth worker at the TYC, at the Youth Café. So what we mainly do is working with the youth. My understanding about the climate change, so for me, how I'll define climate change, it's the long-term change in the climate's earth. It could be rising temperatures, it could be unpredictable rainfall. I would really say that climate change has affected me personally and like even the whole of Kenya, because in some of the areas here in Kenya, we have experienced a drought. That is one effect of the climate change. We've also experienced floods, and that is one way that the climate change has affected us, and the wildfires that sometimes has even caused death upon people, displacement, loss of property and wealth. Yeah. So from this experience, we are having the YCAN project, or the Youth Climate Action Network. So the key takeaways that stood out for me really, it's the change starts with me. I should be the one creating the awareness, because I understand that there are some of the youth in our neighborhood, in our community, that are not even aware what is climate change. So I have to be at the forefront, just helping them, educating them. I could maybe use social media or even visit the community nearby and explain to them about the climate change and give them solutions. And we can come with initiatives or even programs to just help reduce the climate change. So I talk to the youth, what I could say, let's start with where we are. We don't need like huge sum of money to start. We could start in our homes. Maybe like for me personally, I've made it a rule in our home that we should not be using disposable cups, we should not be using disposable plates and anything disposable. Like let's reuse, let's recycle. So let's start where we are. Let's go to the schools, let's talk to the schools and explain to them the solutions. Let us make it aware what is climate change and how we can curb this. Let's also use the social media well, because I see that for most of the youth, they're on the social media. Let's make posters, let's make reels with the youth and engage them. So that is an advice I'll give to the youth. Welcome.
Good morning. How are you and what's your name?
Good morning. My name is Surafel. I'm from Ethiopia.
Okay, what do you do?
Okay, I'm a project coordinator, and specifically for this project, I'm youth worker.
Okay. What would you say is your perception on climate change?
Well, climate change is really an important topic especially for us in Africa, because we are the most affected one. But we are contributing a lot for the climate change in the world. So it is an important topic that we really need to work from the grassroots, because it is really affecting our life, our daily activities. Especially when you see I'm from Ethiopia, we really are dependent on the climate. Our main economy is agriculture. And when the weather is affected, we really are affected. It's a question of food security, economic sovereignty. So it's an important topic.
Okay, thank you so much. What would you say is your key takeaway from this experience?
Yeah. So the important topic is climate change will be tackled by the contribution of all actors. Here in this program, for example, we have different organizations working on that, and our organization really works with the youth. We have TVET schools, academic schools, and we want to bring a grassroots movement in climate change. So we'll see the impact later on, but we try to have an important topics in the schools. Having curriculum, creating extra curriculum, the TVETs, lobbying with the legislators, even international community to work on climate change.
Thank you so much. I would like you to look into the camera and speak to the youth. What would you advise them to do to help this movement?
Yes, to the youth in East Africa, I would say, especially in Ethiopia. Let us come together and work for the planet. Maybe the idea of climate change is far-fetched for you, but it is really affecting our planet. It is affecting our lives. So let us come together, bring the topics on the table and negotiate and work for the better of this planet.
My name is Abdelaziz Bousla. I'm Tunisian and I'm the Africa Project Officer at the European Association for Local Democracy, which is a French-based NGO, and I'm the project manager representing ALDA in the Youth Camp project.
What do you do in your organization?
We work mainly on strengthening local authorities, so we work a lot with local authorities. We want to improve or to enhance the local democratic resilience, and of course, youth are always included in our projects. I mean, it's a big focus in ALDA. We have a big focus on youth and also on local authorities, and we try to manage and to develop and to implement projects in Eastern Europe, in Europe, and in Africa. In Africa, especially, we are working, we are developing and implementing several projects like the White Civic Engagement Project, which is a sub-granting scheme in which we are granting NGOs, local-based NGOs in practically 21 different sub-Saharan African countries. And then we have also the Youth Camp project in which we try to do the necessary advocacy through youth in order to protect our environment. So it is all related also to environmental issues when it comes to youth camp project and others.
How would you define climate change?
I mean, defining climate change actually doesn't need a specific definition. I mean, for me, and I think for everybody, as it's something that we are seeing and we are living with every day. We see, I mean, the increase of the heat. We see that we have a lot of change in our weather, shocking changes in our weather. I would say that climate change is is the proper term to describe the change that we are living with and that they are impacting our life and making our life maybe more difficult than before.
How have you experienced it personally, from a personal level, climate change?
Personal level, I would say.
Experience.
So, answering your question, I think that especially in Tunisia, where I'm based, where I live, I mean, we feel the increase of heat each year. We are reaching some shocking levels of temperatures, especially during summer. Actually, during also these years, let's say 25, 26, we started to see also different if you might say, different weathers, also in winter, with flooding, so with snow, with also a low temperature. I mean, usually in Tunisia, it's quite not too much hot, not too much cold. But now we started to see something different that we never thought that will happen in Tunisia. Actually, before we also had like 4 seasons. Now we practically have summer and then we go to winter, or sometimes it's. I mean, sometimes it's hard to explain, but the most important thing is that it thinks that we are living day to day, every day. And to be honest, maybe in my country we are not that prepared to it, as if we face increase of heat, it's a big problem. Also with electricity, also with water, also I mean with green energy, etc. We are not, I mean, doing that much effort in it, but I mean, yeah.
Your key takeaways from this event?
Key takeaway. So for us, this is the kickoff meeting of the Youth Camp project. So it was an opportunity to meet in person the several partners that we have in this project. We also try to explain, I mean, to redefine a little bit all the vocabulary that we use when we are working on these kind of issues, because I think it's we need to have a common ground. On the vocabulary that we use, on the vision that we have, on the goals that we have, that we set up, to be able to coordinate well the different activities of the project. And I think we did well, to be honest. I think we did well in choosing the partners also that worked and that will be working on this project.
Okay, now speak directly to the youth.
I would say for youth, I think, especially in Africa, youth is the majority of the population is youth. So I would say that actually it's you who should be doing the change. It's you who should be taking the decision-making places. It's you who should be implementing the process of protecting the environment. And I think nobody else will feel the necessity and the importance of this topic other than youth, and nobody else will be able to make change or to create a change or to develop any kind of projects and change other than youth.
Hi, my name is Xavier Enoch. I work with Housing Community Initiative, an organization based in Uganda. and we work a lot with young people and youths. So we do a lot of child rights advocacy and youth, and we work basically in marginalized groups. What I can say, what is climate change in my perception? In layman's language, these are things that the human race is doing that is affecting our climate. Talk about deforestation, swamp reclamation, the urbanization with poor drainage system that affects the flow of water channels through their natural means. So this is how I understand climate change.
What are your key takeaways from this experience?
My key takeaway from this experience, I've gotten a lot more exposure and deeper understanding of climate change issues. And this is where we bring in the aspect of climate justice. So as we do initiative to make our lives better and those of the community that we work with, we should not forget that the environment that is the hub of our stay is under attack. So we need to also advocate for better ways that we can relate with the natural environment.
Will you speak to the youth and call them to action to join this movement?
To the youth, this is a call for you. The the Youth Can project is here to equip us with more knowledge to better understand how we can be involved in climate issues. So as we advocate for climate justice, we need to work together because we are the future of this generation. So that means the earlier we get engaged in this discussion, these talks, the better we prepare ourselves and the future generation that is to come before us. So in case of any opportunity that comes before you, please take it on and be brave as we advocate for climate change. Thank you.
My name is Ivan. I'm part of Gaia Education organization that is based in Belgium. I'm the project coordinator of the European project. We're also part of the e-learning design team.
What does the organization do?
The organization, we work in what is called regenerative cultures, is how to create ecosystems that develop ecological, social, economic, and cultural healthy ecosystem around different local communities, but also worldview communities.
What is your definition of climate change?
Climate change is a big topic, is a big concept. I don't think we can define it with one sentence. It's like a system of systems that are all intertwined and interconnected that we need to face, that is affecting our human life, also more than human life, and it's in our hands to make a change about it.
How would you say it has affected you individually?
It has been touching me for a while, not only in my local communities regarding water system, but also all the different places that I've been traveling around. I see so much in the past, a lot of climate refugees that touched me a lot, and they were good friends. I can see how much they are affected to the youth and to the elders regarding how to make new ways of agriculture, and how much it's also affecting how the way we live itself. And that's the question, no? Which are the different ways that we want to live in this planet?
Your key takeaways from this experience?
My takeaways, basically, and more important for me, and that's the first layer, is deep connection that we are creating in this project with the different organization. Is dialogue, the understanding of each other context, and how can we weave all these idea projects and issues, but also solutions that are already there that we need to give space and voices.
What speak to the youth? What will you call them to action to join this movement?
I think it will give them the opportunity to learn from different friends around African, Europe countries, to give them more perspective of what is happening around the world, but also what are the solution, the questions, the connection that we can hold all together. So it's somehow again to come back together to the same point, to the common value, to work with it. I will invite you to really be part of this, belong to this network of youth that we're creating, and a way to develop better, deeper, and healthy connection, so we can not only have a beautiful relationship between humans, but also the question behind is, or your question behind is, what is your relationship with the earth? What is your relationship with the planet? So it's a beautiful space to work on it and to explore about it.
Hello, my name is Nawasa Yusuf from Uganda, Hope for Life Uganda, and in my knowledge, climate change is not only an environmental aspect, but also an aspect that every young youth should take into consideration, being that it affects our environment and general well-being. So, in my perspective as a youth worker, climate change have been affecting me in different ways. I'm going to give an example of Uganda. We have several seasons. We have droughts, we have heavy rains, which causes flooding, and I'm from the part of West where we normally face droughts, and that affects our agriculture since it's an agricultural region, and we lose food, we starve, and that one results into poverty among our young people, and the parents found everything is on stack. Also, when droughts are high, it affects the pastures for our animals, and that one results into death or loss of animals. In my other way, from what I have attained in YCAN sessions, I have learned how to design projects that will resonate with young people on ground. Also, I can use social media to communicate to young people so that they get accurate information. Also, on project management, I also learned that it starts with looking on tools to use, map right stakeholders to work with. And finally, the message I can give youth is to come to participate with us in this cause of making climate change our first priority so that we have a better world. Thank you. I remain Nawasa Yusuf from Hope for Life Uganda.
So my name is Pedro Pedrosa, and I'm from Gay Education.
How would you define climate change?
How do I define climate change? It's
Your perspective on climate change.
so climate change. It's actually a factual world behavior that is happening in our planet right now due to man-made actions. So I think this is the important key, is that man-made actions are making climate change, and it's somehow a behavior of the planet where the temperatures are rising. In the end, it will affect humans, but not only humans. It will affect ecosystems, it will affect animals, it will affect everything. So yeah.
How has it affected you on a personal level? How have you witnessed this?
So it affects in one level because it's professional, but it's not. It doesn't need to be a negative thing, but it's a fact. It's a professional. It affects professional, but in terms of the places where I live, we can see extreme weather situations happening right now with strong winds, strong storms. All of this, it's happening, and this has an effect on the communities and societies. Yeah.
What are the key takeaways from this experience?
That it kind of looks inevitable right now, even if we do some actions to prevent it. We actually need to do some steps back. We need to regenerate. We need to actually improve things, because just stopping it will not be enough. because we are in a inevitability route for the situations to get worse and worse. The temperature in some place, the drought, the fires, the extreme weather, and so on, it will continue even if we improve right now. So we need to take some steps back, look at the way we behave, and actually improving for the next generations, thinking more about what we can do for the next generations and not for us, because that will be a little bit late, I think.
Okay. Can you speak directly to the youth in matters of climate change and what they can do?
Yeah, so this is actually for people are over 40, let's say like this. I don't think it will have a great impact, big changes, but if the youth, younger people actually, they will be the first ones to, if we manage to mitigate, they will be the first ones to see improvements. But if we don't manage to change anything, they will be the first ones actually to suffer. The first ones not, but the first to suffer really a lot from it.
Thank you so much for staying with us till the end. I hope you have learned a lot about climate change and the impacts that we are facing as a generation, as a planet. And I hope that this video inspires you to become part of the movement, to do whatever small thing you can to help with this challenge, to help with this problem that we are facing as humanity. Nothing is too big or too small. It can just be stop littering. It can just be stop someone said, stop using disposable things. Just the small things that you do and the small actions that you do will eventually lead up to something big. So thank you so much. Kindly subscribe to our channel. Until next time, bye.